and welcome to NAACP Perspectives, where we showcase and highlight successes and achievements in the Johnstown African American community. I'm your host, Ron Fisher, and you know what, today I wanted to kind of slow things down a little bit. For our viewers at home, take a seat and make sure you're all the way tuned in, because today I want to speak about the importance of bringing our community together. You know, Johnstown has a lot of potential, and unfortunately, we don't get to see that potential all the time. You know, especially in our black community, I feel like we should be building each other up, but at times I find us tearing each other down. You know, it takes a village to raise a child, but who's raising the village? You know, I've been born and raised here in Johnstown, and I've seen it at its good times, and I've seen it at its bad times. Unfortunately, lately, I'm seeing it at its bad times. You know, a few things that take away from this great city, or should I say the friendly city of Johnstown, is its crime and its violence. The crime and violence takes its negative toll on the citizens of Johnstown, and unfortunately, things aren't changing for the better. You know, as I said, Johnstown has great potential, but unfortunately, it's the mindsets of the community that's not letting us get there. You know, it's tough because we're losing our city, but before we lose our city, we're going to lose each other. How do we combat that? I'm not sure. You know, there's no science to how you deter that from happening. But one thing is to get to know your neighbor. I think that's an important thing that we forget from time to time. I remember growing up, if something bad to me happened in school and I went home, my parents yelled at me, I'd get that same conversation from the parents down the street and the parents across the street. So we've got away from that. Again, it's about bringing us together, not tearing us apart. You know, it's tough right now, but things can change. But one thing that has to change is, again, the crime and the violence. You know, this negative impacts not only those involved, but it also impacts the families. You know, recently, a young man by the name of Zach Andrews was shot and killed here in Johnstown, and this is somebody's father, a brother, a son. So, what do? Most of us run from the situation, but today, I'd like to embrace it. So today on the show, I have Zach's mother, Melody Young, and his uncle, Dwight Andrews, joining us, and I also bring along Greg Nash, and we'll be getting to Greg here shortly. But I want to thank you all for joining me today. Now, again, when these kind of incidents happen, you know, what do you say to somebody? How do you get to the next step? You know, and not to talk down on local media, but once it's out of the news, it's out of sight, out of mind. And I want to change that a little bit. I want the viewers at home to see what is actually going on behind closed doors. You know, it's one thing to say something, but it's one thing to do something. And today I want to do something. So I'm glad that everybody could join me today. And I want everybody to be comfortable. You know, I want everybody to feel like this is home. I don't have anything to eat. But again, I want everybody to feel comfortable. And to begin, I wanted to speak with you, Melody. I wanted to, because again, you only hear what people tell you, you know. So I wanted to give you a platform where you could speak about your son, where you could speak about the things that you loved about him, the things that people may not know. So with that being said, the floor is yours.
I just want to say my son was a good boy. He was a really good son. He had goals. He wanted to do things in life. He was only 21. He just had a little girl, Alea, and his main thing was music also. And his music was the Money Team, and that's where he performed. They just performed at the Aces.
I heard.
And they did really good and everything. And the night that he left to get dressed to go do that performance at the Aces, first thing he ran to my mother's home and said, Grandma, I'm gonna make it big. And I know that's what he wanted to do, and he was on his way. Mm-hmm. He was on his way, and it's just a shame that his life was cut down so short, because he was just trying to make a life for him and his family.
And that's understood, and it's great to see that he had an ambition and he had goals, because a lot of our young men lack ambition and goals, you know. And before people try to say this, that, and the third, I wanted to bring you aboard to let people know who the real Zach Andrews was. You know, again, this is somebody's son, somebody's father, as you had mentioned. So tell us about some of the fond memories you had with your son.
He was just a jokester.
Yeah?
Yes, he's a jokester. He just always doing something funny, making you laugh. If you don't want to get up and do this, Mom, I think it's time for you to get rolling, get the ball rolling. He encouraged me. I just went back to school recently and graduated.
Oh, congratulations.
And he helped me through that process.
That's great.
Yep, he helped me with homework. He helped me, especially with computer skills. I hope there was one.
Yeah, you sound like my mom, though.
But he helped me do that, because computers was not my thing at all. So he helped me, and then when he became a father, I thought, because he was spoiled, and you know, especially by my mother, and
grandparents are good at doing that.
So whenever he became a father, my mom was like, I never seen a man change diapers like that. You know, he just picked up these natural skills, you know, that I didn't. Like, every time he comes home, he has the baby, you know, on his arm. He's just, if you ever watch Facebook or anything, he's on there making videos, and he does, and then she does, you know, he just repeats everything. He's just a great father.
That's good to hear that. Dwight, how about yourself? What kind of memories do you have of the young man?
My nephew, he was the greatest. Always competing to be better than his uncle. Just a bunch of joy. I mean, one thing I could say for him, loyal. I mean, when he loved you, he loved you. I mean, everything about him at just that early age, you could just see how he felt about other people, what he would do for other kids and his friends. I mean, he was the best. And like my sister said, even if you're in a bad mood, he'll just cheer you up.
Yeah.
You can't even you could act like you're mad at him for like 5 minutes, but he gonna end up bring smiles to your face, and you can't stay mad at him. I mean,
you have to enjoy a personality like that. I mean, anybody that could bring sunshine to the darkness is always a great person to be around.
Yeah, and he just loved, like my sister said, loved his music.
Yeah. I hear more and more about the money too. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
And loved being a father. And loved his girlfriend Victoria Smothers.
And how old was his child? How old was the daughter?
6 months.
6 months old. That in itself, it has to be tough. You know, especially for Victoria.
Yes.
It has to be tough, because, you know, Mother's Day just passed. I'm sure that was tough. I'm sure it was. But even for herself now, being a single parent, not because, and you hear this all the time, especially in the black community, the dad's not here. Right. The dad ran, you know, and she's celebrating Mother's Day on her own, not because he chose to run, but because of somebody else's decision, you know. And to be honest with you, for me to do this show, I felt like it was important. I felt like I had to do this. I felt like I was almost obligated, like I had to. And to be honest with you, I don't get nervous about doing too many shows. But this one struck me a little bit, because I wanted to make sure that the message was communicated the right way, you know, because I'm not sure if people realize the impact that their decisions have on others, you know. And when you're talking about violence, the impact that it keeps giving, you know, and not giving in a good way, you know, it's tough. So I wanted to support you all and let you know that people are here to help, you know, and to help you along the way. I know it's tough because people can't, there's nothing much that somebody can say that's going to heal any wounds, you know. But the more that we can come together as a community, the more that we can be each other's neighbor, the better our community becomes as a whole, you know. I just saw recently, I was on Facebook just the other day actually, and I started there was an event for Zach coming up. Is there something going on at Lorraine Park or something going on? Could you speak on that event for a second?
Well, we're having a cookout. In fact, his girlfriend Victoria started it all, putting it all together.
Okay.
So we're gonna have a cookout at Lorraine Borough, and it starts at noon, and it'll just continue on throughout the day.
Oh.
Then at 7 o'clock, we're going to have a vigil in Moxham, where he was murdered, 710 Grove, and we're gonna light candles and have a couple speakers there. So
that's nice. You said that's the day, his birthday actually?
May 21st.
Yeah.
Okay. And he would have been 22. Okay. So if you're in the area, please stop by is it Lorraine? The Lorraine Playground or?
Borough Park.
Okay.
Lorraine Park.
Lorraine Park. And stop by, you know. We gotta start supporting each other, and the cookout's always a good place to to show up. So, but that's great because again, I'm born and raised in Johnstown, you know, and it saddens me when something like this happens because 9 out of 10 times you know this person, you know, and to be honest with you, we're related, and I didn't know this. I didn't know this until after, which is sad, but it's great to know that we are related, you know. So more than likely, every 1 out of 10 people you see in Johnstown, you're probably related to, you know. So that's why this show is important to me because we are a family here. There's reasons why you don't leave Johnstown. It's like it's called my Cheers theory. It's like Norm on Cheers. Every time you go somewhere, people know your name, and that's what people love about Johnstown because you've been out of town and you could have stayed somewhere else, but people always come back here, and it's because this is home, you know. So why not let's clean up home, you know. And that's why I brought Greg on because I've been on Facebook as you have been as well, and I keep seeing these positive quotes popping up, man. So it looks like you have a movement, and no matter how big of a movement, whether it's huge or small, it's still you putting time into sharing your thoughts, man. So if you could, man, speak on your movement here.
Yeah, currently what I'm doing, you know, and I don't want to like flood people's, like if you see 1 million people tagged and people kind of just blow it off all, I ain't talking about nothing. So what I do is every Thursday, you know, Facebook, social media is an outlet. So I understand, you know, it's a diary for everybody. So if you're having a bad day, you put it on Facebook. If you're having a good day, you put it on Facebook. Mm-hmm. So what I declared, you know, everybody knows Throwback Thursday on Facebook. You put pictures of your kids when they were younger and everything. So what I do, I made PPT, which is Positive Post Thursday. So
okay.
One day a week, you know, just don't put anything negative up. All I want you to do is put something positive up on Facebook. You know, got a raise at the job, you know, you're proud of your kid, you know, whatever that can help brighten somebody's day. Because at the end of the day, sometimes you don't know what the next person is going through. And, you know, sometimes it might just be that one post online or that one quote that, you know, like when you hear the church, sometimes that message just hits you. And I'm just trying to spread positivity into the community, and I'm just trying to change the vibe. Like it's such a, you know, I was raised in Johnstown too, and I think bad things always been happening in Johnstown. But when you're younger, you know, you might not know the individuals it's happening to, you know. So the older people, you know, they're used to the violence, you know. But now these young kids are seeing it, and it's their best friends they graduated with now, or to, you know, the kid that I used to train in personal training in the gym. So I think, you know, if we can change the vibe of the city, you know, that's a start. You know, somebody has to start somewhere. So what I'm trying to implement is a program, because one thing about Johnstown, we produce athletes. You know, everybody knows that. If you play sports in Johnstown, you know, your success rate skyrockets.
Yeah.
But what about the people who don't play sports? What about the people who are struggling in college, you know, and they lose the scholarship? You know, we tend to forget about them. And it's at Zach's age, you know, 21, 22, where what other outlets they got? What else are we, you know, helping them with? You know, if it's Zach's music, who in the community is supporting his music and supporting that he's trying to do something good? It tends to be, if it's an athlete, you know, we support them to the fullest till they make it or they don't make it. You know, we praise them. But what about the kids who just need to know about, you know, taxes and good credit and, you know, maybe going into a field like welding or being an electrician or joining the union? We don't have an out. We don't have an out for them. It's like it's either you're an athlete or you're nothing around here. And you go work at Walmart and make, you know, $7.25 an hour and try raising your kids off that.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm trying to do through the Positive Post is really start rallying the community to support, you know, our children of the future. Like, it's, you know, we support them when they're real little, you know, T-balls, flag football, that stuff. We support them when they're in middle school, but when they graduate, where are they? You know, and when you see a lot of the drug epidemics and the violence epidemics, it's usually that 20 to 25 age group who they dropped out of school. You know, they had difficulties in school, and we don't push them, we don't guide them. And I think, you know, something like some type of Big Brother program or something where they have an outlet besides their parents, because, you know, when I'm in trouble, I don't want to talk to my mom. You know, I love her to death, but that's not who I want to talk to. I can't talk to my friends who are doing bad about my friends who are doing bad. You understand what I'm saying? So I think if they have another outlet besides that, somebody, you know, some type of mentor, just to tell them, you know, it's gonna be okay. You know, you're going through some tough times, it'll get better. You know, you won't be broke forever. You know, we all hit that, you know, no matter how successful you are in life. So I just think if, you know, we start there and start giving them another outlet, and, you know, just be positive, like smile. Sometimes I just walk up to random people and say, hey, how you doing today, man? Have a great day. And they're just looking at you like, you know, something wrong with him? You know what I mean? And it's strange that that's the behavior. But if I walk down, you know, a big guy with a bunch of tattoos and I just look at them, you know, that's what they're used to. They're not used to you shaking a hand, you know, open the door for them, helping with the groceries. And I think if we can get back to the basics, you know, of just being positive and being helpful, and, you know, pushing these kids just to do something with your life. You know, if you want to be a rapper, or you want to be in the music industry, let's support them as a community. You know, I just think, you know, they say 2 heads are better than 1, but how many people do we have in Johnstown? You know, I think 5,000 heads, you know, the things we can do and the movements we can make would, you know, be awesome. So
yeah, that's great.
You know, that's just where I'm at with it.
That's great, though. I mean, you hit on a lot of good points there. I mean, we are losing a grasp of our youth. You know, we push them to the 18 and we tell them to get out. But we don't know where they're going, and most of the time they don't either. And it's showing. You know, for the ones that are successful, they're gone. But for the ones that aren't, they're still here. You know, but what are we doing to help them along the way? And I like what you said about the mentor part, because especially in the black community, we need mentors. I can't keep doing it all. No, and I never mean that in a vain way. It's just that when somebody's looking for somebody to help, they call me, and it's like, who else do you know? I said, I gotta get back to you. And it's not that I don't know other folks, it's just who's willing to put in the time to not see an immediate reward. And most people, I'll be honest, they don't want to do that. Because, I mean, why am I going to waste my time doing something and I don't see any return on it? It's just like going to work every day for free, but not getting paid, you know. But that mentality is what has us where we are. You know, it doesn't have to be that way, and we should work to push our kids along the way. We should get to know who our children's friends are. You know, my son he's 7, and I get nervous because he's up the street. It shouldn't be that way, though. You know, it shouldn't be that way. It sounds silly to me. I remember when I was a kid, I was good until the street lights came on, and I was listening for that to make sure about the extra 5 minutes or not, you know. And depending on how loud it was, I mean how fast I had to get home, you know. But now it's like you have to put a cell phone in your kid's pocket, because that's the only way you can keep tabs on them, you know. And it's sad, because this is the city that I know. And I don't care if you're white, black, Filipino, Chinese, Asian, Mexican, it's going to impact your family. You know, this is our family. This is Johnstown. And they call it the friendly city, but I haven't seen it that way in a long time. And I'm not trying to talk bad about my city. I love it. That's why I'm still here. You know, I want to see it progress. I want to see it change, you know. I want to see the people around me grow. You know, I want to see this young man here be a success. I want to see people like Zach Andrews see his dreams come true, you know. But the only thing stopping those dreams, if it's not that individual, it's his surroundings, it's her surroundings. So how do we make this place better? How do we change? How do we change? And again, it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it's going to take people rallying together and people wanting to change for themselves. You know, the baton was passed to us, but they didn't tell us where to go. So I'm looking to change the mentality of folks, and I'm looking to embrace the change. And I'm speaking to you, viewers at home. I'm hoping that the message in this show hits home, and even if only a few people it hits home with, maybe you are the people that contact the NAACP and say, hey, I want to be a member of your organization because I believe in your mission statement. I believe in what you all want to do. or maybe you contact Greg and say, you know, I like what you're doing each week. How can we put legs to this and see it move and see it run, you know? But sitting on the couch just watching the show, it's not, as much as I enjoy and love you folks at home watching this show, we need more than just that. We need people to get up, get out, and do something, you know? And until we do that, you're not going to hear about the good things that's happening in the town. You know, if you go watch the news, go through the newspaper, you rarely see some of the good things that's happening in our own community. But let something bad happen and you hear about it for the next week. And unfortunately, I'm reading and seeing a lot more things that are negative than positive. You know, but there's great things going on. You know, myself, I'm actually graduating with a master's degree in 2 weeks. You won't hear that about the news, but you'll hear about the next person that sells that next heroin bag or gram of coke somewhere, you know. So let's start sharing some of the positives. That's what this show is for. This show is a platform to share the community, some of the highlights and successes in our very own community. So be sure to contact us with your information, because I would love to have you on here with your positive story and how you're taking Johnstown and yourself to the next level. Again, violence and the crime is taken away from our community. It's taken away from our loved ones, our families. This isn't the city that we built, so why are we destroying it like this? You know, again, the impact that other people's decisions have weigh deeply on the next individual. And my panel they totally agree with that, and that's why I have them here, because it takes more than just somebody's sympathy. It takes more than just that one tear. It takes people getting up and actually doing something. I again feel very strong about this because I love my community and I love the people in it, but until we as a community get together and want to see change, we're going to see it as it is. And you can cut the grass, fill that pothole, but until you do more, it's not going to change anything. So we have some more time in the show. I really want our viewers at home to understand the impact that a lost one has. Now, Melody, I know it's been tough, but what do you find yourself doing nowadays to try to, say, move forward?
Wow.
And I know it's probably, I know it's a tough question, and I don't want to put you on the spot, I don't want you to be uncomfortable, but I want our viewers to understand what you may have to go through. So maybe the next person doesn't decide to take that hateful act to the next individual, because it does impact people.
Well, it's took a toll on me, everything. I mean, he was my only child, so it was only me and him all his life, you know, and the help of my parents and stuff, my brother, you know. But it's just so hard to explain, because it took a tragedy like this to bring some of our family closer together. I haven't been to church in a long time now. I've been going to church.
That's a good thing.
So this is my second Sunday in a row.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to. I did do an interview with News Center 6.
Okay.
Just to tell them and show pictures of the type of person my son was. They might talk about everyone. You know, someone always has something bad to say, but they never knew that Zach did grow up in a church in Maryland, Fort Washington, and he actually won a gospel rapping contest.
Oh, really?
So he did.
At what age was that?
This was about 12.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but he's always been writing and doing things. He was in karate since he was 5. At 12, he turned black belt. And that's who I used to go to then back then, like, if he would cut up his score, like, Joe Goss, he was like a mentor, you know, because when you do sensei, you have to have respect, you know, in karate, and respect in life, and I just think I did the best that I could, and you know, there's just some evil people out there. I don't understand why they do the things, and because you should especially feel safe at home. When you unlock your door and go in your house, that's your safe place.
You're right.
You know, so I don't understand, but I would like to get involved in more things and help the youth or do whatever I can do now, because my life has totally changed, and I want my granddaughter to grow up in a better world.
That's great what you say, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming down and sitting with me today. You know, that's very big of you. But you're right though. You shouldn't have to worry about your safety in your own home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and something that I found strange is that in Johnstown, all of a sudden, you can murder somebody and get away with it. How that happened? But I don't know the numbers or nothing. But I know that the last few, they still haven't found, you know, who the actual person was who shot at somebody. And it's just like in Johnstown, where everybody knows everybody's business.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody's business. How do people get away with murder? And I know, especially in the younger community, there's this word called a snitch. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to be a snitch. But you know what? I've seen people snitch for less. And it's not really about being a snitch. It's about bringing closure to a family. It's about putting an end to something. And if you have any information, don't feel uncomfortable with coming forward with it, because again, there are families or loved ones who would love to see some closure to it. So again, feel free with coming up and just helping this family. Dwight, I want to leave you out over there, man. Any other words for your nephew? And I know you've taken it hard yourself too. You know, what do you find yourself doing these days to?
Well, I recently got enrolled at Penn Highlands College.
Oh, that's great, man. Congrats.
And my nephew was a big inspiration of that, because I wanted to show him a different side of me.
That's good.
So I dedicated, you know, my college days to him.
No, that's great. Cause I know you and my brother Jason, you guys hang out a lot, and he didn't mention that though. So that's great though. That's big, you know. It really is.
And he just definitely gave me the strength to become a better father, a better brother, a better son, and I just dedicate it all to my nephew.
That's good. You start to really cherish each day, and you want to put more into each day, because you really never know, you know. And for our viewers at home, I hope again that you've really taken something away from this episode. Again, I know a lot of people want to run from these kind of scenarios or situations, but I'm here and I'm embracing it, and I want our community to start embracing it and starting to want more. You know, we have just another minute or so, but Greg, before we end it, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, basically, all I just want to say is, you know, start small. We don't have to have, you know, a 1,000,000-man march to change the city. It can be the simple things in life, like going to support Zach for his birthday, or, you know, find his mom, man, and just tell her, you know, that, you know, there's love still out there. You know, we're still praying for you, you know, and just do whatever you can do to help. I don't care if it's helping a kid on the bus or helping an old lady carry grocery bags. Whatever you can do positive in the community, do it. Just don't be another statistic. You know, change the vibe, and you'll change the city. And that's just what I truly believe.
That's great. That's great. You heard the man. Change the vibe, change the city. That's probably on one of your posts, isn't it? Yeah. Well,